Okay, looks like we're online. Let's see. Yep, looks like it. Okay, so it's 12:40, a little bit later than I usually start Timeout Tuesday. Today's episode 144. This is the 144th week that I'm coming to you live for these little Timeout Tuesday chats, covering a variety of topics, usually some things that have to do with what's going on at the dojo, what's going on at the world, or maybe something that just occurred to me that I thought was worth chatting about. Um, and today I'm going to speak a little bit more about status of our classes, our in-person classes, and where we're moving. And I guess we're more or less attacking it on three different fronts. As you know, we continue to monitor very carefully everything that's going on in the world, everything that's going on throughout our country, in the state, and then in our local community. And we take that into context and try to figure out what's the safest thing for us to be doing as it relates to our members' families, our instructors, our staff, and so we that's one area is monitoring what's going on in the world. The second area that we're moving on is we began doing in-person classes outdoors for on the weekend. We did that for the last two Saturdays, and our plan now is to make that our regular practice, weather permitting. So we'll be doing Saturday classes outdoors. We have an early morning class for our advanced students that are preparing for their black belts. We have a little dragons class for our 3 to 6 year olds. And then we have our class for our remaining student body of our levels 1, 2, and 3, Black Belt Club, teens and adults. We have an hour and a half set aside outdoors. We do a combination thus far of some group weaponry, some drills that we can all work on together and improve our skill set. And then starting last week, and I believe that we'll be continuing to do this, we then broke up into smaller groups. We still maintained social distancing. We still wore masks the whole time, but each group had an instructor and they were working on different elements of the curriculum so that we had that opportunity to work with them in person, help them with their angles, their directions, their transitions, their positions, and that we can do that in person with them so that when we are teaching them in the virtual environment in our Zoom classes, we have some reference point and we could always say, you know what, it looks like you're struggling with that angle. Let's make sure we work on that this coming Saturday again. So our plan right now is to continue studying what's going on around us, to take advantage of the outdoors for as long as the weather permits. Throw on a couple of sweatshirts. You can still practice karate outside. And we'll continue to do that. And then the third element of what we're working on is to make sure that our facility is as safe as possible for our members when the time comes. Now, interestingly, I spend some time every week on the phone with the health inspector. We haven't had a health inspection yet. I'm preparing for that eventual requirement, and I want to make sure that we're going to be as buttoned up as we possibly can in advance of that. And it's very interesting because a lot of the guidance that I've gotten from the health inspector in terms of what would make us compliant are things that we've actually been doing for years. Some of the requirements are to make sure that you have hand washing stations scattered throughout. As everyone knows, we have Purell stations already scattered throughout, and we encourage our students to use those. I went over with the health inspector the type of disinfectants that we typically use prior to the COVID pandemic and the ones that they're requiring post current pandemic, intra-pandemic. And it turns out that the ones that we've been using are the ones that they recommend. So we've actually been taking these very precautionary sanitizing tasks very seriously for a long time, and it turns out that much of what we need to do we've already been doing. The disinfectant wipes that we use that are hanging in those bins toward the back of the school that we use to wipe down the bags and all of our equipment, those are the ones that they require, and for destroying the coronavirus, to clean and disinfect things. These are compliant with that requirement. So I'm happy about that. We already have all of this material in place. Some of you may have noticed we installed some new fans around the dojo to increase the airflow, to help or supplement what the air conditioning and the fans already do. We wanted to move the air more. I kind of wanted to do that before the pandemic. We just never got around to it. So this was a call to action. So we're continuing down the path of making sure that we are ready to go should the time arise that we feel that it's appropriate to open the doors and start teaching classes indoors. I believe that as time moves on, we will begin doing private lessons and some small group classes, and possibly even another program that we're going to be launching in the next couple of months as well, indoors. So that's how we're beginning to kind of wade into things a little bit. And, I encourage people to reach out, ask me any questions. If you have any questions or concerns about what we're doing, why we're doing it at the pace that we're doing it at, versus trying to be the first guy to open up on the block, I encourage you to reach out and ask me those questions. A lot of what we're doing is not only based on what we believe is the best information available from the science community and from our community leaders, but I also listen very carefully to the parents, what they're doing to protect their families, what they think are the best activities and methods of conducting those activities, and that's also what's guiding us. We want to be a safe haven for everybody, and listening to our members is and always will be an important factor in how we do that. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing everybody at the dojo during the week for our Zoom classes, and then this coming Saturday, weather permitting, keep an eye on our Facebook groups and pages, because that's where we're going to make last-minute decisions about weather, and whether we need to implement the Sunday rain date concept, which is what we're planning on doing. But I have really enjoyed and have gotten great feedback from our members about the outdoor classes. And so I look forward to seeing everybody's, as I keep saying, I wish I could say everybody's smiling faces, but we're all masked up, so everybody's crinkly eyes is how we tell that everybody's smiling. So I wish everybody a fantastic day today. Have a great week. Be safe. Stay safe. See you at the dojo. Peace.